week's episode of The Voice Party is brought to you by Big Boy Raps. Get your car wrapped by some of the most experienced and skilled in the Bay. Big Boy Raps, where the big boys play.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners all around the world and viewers all over YouTube, presenting to you this episode of The Voice Party. We got JD, we got Marcos, we got Phil, we got yours truly, Joaquin Xavier, and we have our illustrious guest. Please introduce yourself, good sir.
This time, I'm going to introduce it right so they know me as Uptown. And I'm going to say it just like last time, and that's standing for unifying people, though opposition would not. So thanks for welcoming me back, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Hey, welcome back to the show.
This time.
Yeah, you've been here before. Now you know what to expect, and you kind of know us a little bit better. We got new. Well, he's not new. He was always with us at the time when you came. We just wasn't here that day.
Yeah, his interviewing skill. When he was talking, I liked that. I was like, man, cool. I was hoping to see you here.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah. No, he was on episode 3 when we started 2 years ago. So he's been around for a while.
Yeah,
As a guest.
Me and my band.
Oh, okay.
We're guests on the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we started late last time. I know you had trouble getting here. So and we didn't get to do like a full. We usually do hour-long conversations, and we only did like 30 minutes last time. But
you see the views.
I saw the views, and it was man. It was we were talking about. I don't know what to expect. I thought we were gonna, because you kind of gave me a little bit to kind of chew on when you messaged me, but I didn't really, know you never really know what an episode is gonna turn out. Even with like we had on one of my high school friends here earlier who was a DJ and he works with us, and he told us some stuff during the episode that I had no idea until the power of the microphone. That's what it does. So I know you guys have a background, like we mentioned before. You guys,
he need to come out with an album. I can't wait to hear his album, man, on everything. I ain't just because
I've been telling them.
I swear on everything I love. I can't wait till you finish yours.
I appreciate that I really do.
I've been telling him.
Man.
It's like an itch he wants to scratch, but he doesn't have the nail for it or something. I don't know.
It's gonna come. It's gonna come. As soon as a few things are settled out, it's gonna come. But I appreciate
the world needs to hear it, man.
Honestly, Uptown will be one of the first to hear it. When I'm looking for people to collaborate with, I'll be like, "Hey, man, I got a 3rd verse. I need you on this."
I just wrote something today. I actually not wrote it, but I put it on a voicemail.
Like a voice memo.
Derek Brock. We were speaking.
Derek
about
Brock, that's his brother.
That's
man.
another
I love
one.
that guy.
Good friend of mine.
Yeah,
we got some poetry coming, so it's been a long time since I even spit anything.
I remember last time you were talking about that you didn't really want to do it.
Nah, I mean, I did, but I didn't. Because everybody do it now. You know what I mean? So it's like, what am I gonna say that's gonna be different? Because you see all the battle rappers with the dope raw ass vape ass punchlines, and I'd be like, well, dang, like I ain't, not that I don't believe in self, because I do, but it's just like these, some of the people out there, they competitive and repetitive with it, so it's like I don't even, what I'm saying, but just like the views, the 499 or 500, what I'm saying. So some people might. All them other people, you might be like, I just play with this, and they might like what you got to say, and you just playing. So if you get serious, then it's like, well, dang. Yeah. Never know.
Yeah, no, definitely. When I say right now, everyone's doing it. It sometimes it feels like for example, for comedy. It's a lot of fucking comedians right now, or where they're flooding the shows. Where kind of like if you, as an outsider, it looks like the art is diluted. I mean, I'm speaking from my art form. I can't say for you bands and music and art.
I would say for bands, it's almost the same thing too. There's so many bands out there, and
some of them is maybe they're just chasing the fame, not necessarily opening up and actually pouring their fucking soul into this shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the other spectrum too, there's a lot of great artists out there that are telling their truth too. It's just there's just
you got to find it.
Well, there's a million of us now. But some of us are going to have similar stories. So now you're trying to figure out who's the real one, who's breaking through, who's not breaking through, or who's going to last.
What I think is special about this day and age in particular is that there's literally an artist for everybody. Because it used to be,
it's true.
It used to be there were maybe, you could have maybe 5-6 rappers, if you're lucky, on the top Billboard 100 chart, and then like maybe 20-30 on like the hip hop and R&B charts, and then if you weren't in that select group, you were on someone's label hoping to get released. But now everybody that is doing music is putting music out and gaining their own collection of fans. Right. So the way I look at it is kind of like, okay, if you could put out your own independent album and you have just 20,000 people, there's 20,000 out of the whole world buying your record for like $5 a pop, you're making a living.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can do a show for, you know, and then people are going to go out and see a rap show regardless of who's on the marquee, you're good. I think it was Method Man actually came out and said, because he's one of these top, you know, he said, man, I'm looking at all these festival rappers and they're coming in with all this money. How are they getting all this money? It's because they're doing it independently. They're not letting the labels take from them, you know? So it's like there's enough for everybody. There's billions of people on the planet. There's more and more countries opening up and listening to rap music. So
that's true. And like
and other forms of music too.
In the comedy world, there's guys that are making a name for themselves on TikTok, and they're finding a way to sell out arenas, and the traditional ways are like looking at that and they're getting mad because it's, you know, I see a lot of comics that I know that are mad at that. But for me, I see it as like, you know what, man, you went around and did it and found a way to keep the man out of it.
Right.
Yep.
And the minions are like furious because they're over here. You got to please the man to get there. What the fuck are you doing there? But people found a way around it.
We were talking about this before one of the shows one time. It doesn't matter, you know. Social media has been such a huge platform for like all of different art, and
an equalizer.
It's an equalizer
I
mean, if you don't got the money, you're posting on TikTok, you're posting on Instagram until you get that number following. The next thing you know, they can go out, sell at the show.
Those 500 views turn into 2,000 views, and then
you know so it turns into a 500-seater venue. And I've been working my ass off for 10 years trying to play at all these shows, blah blah, and we haven't got that fan base, but we're not doing social media. You know what I mean? Like, they found a way.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at them for that.
You can't get mad at that.
They're hella badass.
If anything, I want to work with you.
Yeah, if anything, I'm trying to work with you. I'm trying to open up for you now.
It's great.
Yeah, especially if you found a way around the institutionalized way of doing it, you know? Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
no, that's cool.
It's supposed to be an interview, but it's a lot of anger. I want to ask you about the symbol. I've seen you rock it, and I'll be honest, I know some, but I don't know a lot about what it represents. And
really, it's the pineal gland.
Pineal
secretes
gland.
the melanin. Go back to the ancient languages, chemistry. Latin word is melanin, which is basically implies color. So if you can go on YouTube, Google, Yahoo, whatever, you can type up pineal gland or brain or cut in half.
The third eye, they call it. The third eye, yeah.
So when you literally cut a brain in half, and what it will look like within the brain is this, or very similar to. So this is
the pineal gland,
right?
They have a statue of that in the Vatican. I just found that out.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It's like with that what you just said, the Vatican,
or like one of those big churches. Yeah,
it's like the Pope. I'm sure
the
y'all
Pope.
When you go down in the bunker and pray to the dark Madonna.
I've heard of that.
Black Madonna. So
I've heard of that.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, well, what's really going on?
Yeah,
you
that's true.
Me? So man,
because a lot of like secret societies the pineal gland is a big part of what they. Supposedly, like, I mean, I don't know, like sugar and like, you know, like what was it? Like stuff that like gives you pleasure, like it blocks the pineal gland, and like, you know, exercise and like healthy whatever food is what clears your pineal gland. It helps you think better, and
that part I do know about. Yeah,
that's what I've heard about the pineal gland. It's a real thing. It's a part of your, like what you say, you split open the brain and it's like the middle part, right?
Yeah, well, more so like they say like back in here, like the hook part.
Hook part.
But
and a lot of ancient cultures and religions were big on the pineal gland. Like they knew that was something to keep sharp.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the bombardment with, and I don't want to sound hella smirkers, but I'm just gonna keep it 1,000. I say 1 mil wheel, like 1 million, 1 mil wheel. It's just like the social media sites and stuff, even though we own one right now.
Yeah.
But it's like it's made to dull people down to keep that not so sharp or clean and stuff. So
keep it like foggy.
Like what we drinking right now. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, they don't be like, damn, he tearing down the businesses and stuff.
These are our sponsors. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
This episode is sponsored by Crystal Geyser.
We wish.
We make it. We take it back.
It's like a lot of these waters versus the actually 9.5 alkaline water, which really carries a lot of things.
The pH level is like way higher.
That's what the ones I like drink. I got some in the car right now.
Yeah.
Or technically perfect English car, but Richmond, the car.
The car. Oh, yeah. We talked about that in the 100th episode, the car.
Yeah, we did. Film on Mike brought that up, right?
Yeah,
the car.
Get the car.
Yeah.
So
what have you been up to, man, since we last saw you?
Work, then not work.
Okay.
Then working on some work. Working on getting some work.
Documentary?
Not so much. I mean, I spoke to Nobi, but because so much is going on, it's just like Nobi be hella busy. I'm sure if y'all know about him.
He's busy. He did something with what's his name, Tech Nine recently.
Yeah.
Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Just met Danny Glover for the second time.
Oh, wow.
He remembered me because he was supposed to do an Israelite movie, and he remembered me from 2017 when I had it was Bay Area Israelites or whatever, but it had the Golden State Warriors, and it was me and Danny Glover when I had locks and stuff before, this dude started fading out, so I had to chop him off. You see, what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I remember you seeing your pictures. Yeah.
And then I seen him again at Vegan Mob, and me and dude
Vegan
was
Mob.
just talking. I was like, man, I want Danny Glover to be on my documentary. Somebody was hunked or did something, and I didn't stop. For some reason, I didn't just look at the person. I just backed up, and he said, hey, there go Danny Glover right there. I'm like, and I looked. I said, man. That's a sign right there.
Dang.
But Danny Glover is cool. And I really like Danny Glover a lot. Down to earth. He from San Francisco, I heard.
He's a San Francisco guy. That's what I know about him. That's why he was in the Vegan Mob commercial directed by Nobi. Yeah. Are you vegan?
I want to be. Yeah. I'm not now. I mean,
it's hard.
Craving for certain meats and stuff. I ain't got over it just yet, but I can though at a drop. If everything is it's like this table we sitting at. If everything was in front of me, and I knew it was plenty of it, then I could do it.
Yeah.
With ease. I stopped eating pork when I was reading Torah, Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14. I just dropped it like that. It's and haven't turned back since. So
why is it that? What does it say in the Torah for pork? I missed that part.
Basically, is the way I render it as far as the language, the King James Shakespearean English, the thus and the thouest, that's the King's English technically. Yeah. So it uses the word in English swine, not eating the swine or whatever, which, a lot of Muslims and stuff. So when you make mention in public that you don't eat pork, a lot of people think it has something to do with Islam.
Yeah.
But it started with the Hebrew culture as far as on record.
Right.
But who knows where it really may have started from.
Yeah.
So I just stopped, you know what I mean? That was it.
A lot of health benefits from not eating pork.
And then the worms, the trichinosis worm and stuff, if y'all, how they got dang near everything on YouTube. So they had a piece of pork. And they put some, what was that soda? Coca-Cola. Poured it on there and left it for some hours. Then the worms start coming out. And we had already stopped eating pork, but that furthermore was
it's like, nah.
That's why I drink Coca-Cola. I'm trying to get rid of my worms.
I was like, well, that's why you cook the pork. Hopefully it'll kill them off, right?
But I have heard of someone I knew, they ate, I think it was like a uncooked pork or something like that where it was still raw.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
And he had something happen where the worms went up to his brain, and every once in a while he'd get seizures from that. So
you're not supposed to eat uncooked meat.
Chicken or or pork.
Pork. No,
you gotta cook that shit. Too,
why are
man.
people eating uncooked? I don't understand. like maybe with beef, that's fairly safe to eat it like with a bit of pink in there. But
And
you don't.
Well, you still cook it. I mean, a rare steak is still cooked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You should cook
Safe
your
enough
food.
to cook.
You cook your food.
all the way cooked.
I'll eat it sometimes raw, but like not raw, but like
Rare.
medium rare.
Oh, medium rare is the best way to eat a
can't do
steak.
raw rare.
I can't do well done. It's just
I
takes out
gotta
all the
have
flavor.
Bay Area style, hella done.
Hella.
Shit.
Yeah. No,
I first time I had a pink steak, I was steak with some pink in the middle. I never really liked steak growing up, and it wasn't until Phil's dad had a birthday thing, and I was over there, and we were cooking steaks, and Phil flipped it a couple of times, and after that, he's like, "All right, it's done. Your steak's done." What do you mean it's done? It's only been on there for like a few minutes, from my perspective. So I was eating this, and I hope I'm not gonna die. And I was like, "This is the juiciest, most delicious."
Yep.
I came home, I was like, "Yo, Grandpa, we've been eating steak wrong this whole time. Like, what are we overcooking it?"
You know,
No, it's the greatest.
I come from a family where we pride ourselves on making the best chicharrones and carnitas. So like that's why for the
What's that?
it's,
I don't.
deep fried pork, and it's like where the town where my parents come from. That's like their, that's like barbecue in Kansas City. Like it's a specialty of the town. But
He said, but.
I mean, aside from like because a lot of the Torah, it's like trying to get you not to eat it because of the health benefits, right? Mostly. There's different reasons, but health is one of them because it definitely is not the best meat for you.
I think that's safe to assume right there, the way you worded it.
Right.
Yeah, the health and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's been many debates on it. Like, I've been questioned, like, well, why don't you eat pork? And then I would say Leviticus 11 or Deuteronomy 14. But the way that you just worded, it would veer off in the conversation to that health.
Yeah.
Because what I could use now, this YouTube, I'd be like, oh, that's all I got to basically say. Look at the stuff when you pour the soda on it. I mean, that's right there. You see it, and it don't look good. So
the weirdest one for me is how, anatomically close our bodies are to pork, to pigs.
Oh yeah,
We're very
Because
we're like,
used to be.
We're like actually really close.
We're close to like the body. Like there's a lot. That's one other thing we talked about. The smell of a human body burning and the smell of cooked pork is very similar.
Yeah. They used to, pozole used to be like an Aztec dish.
Yeah.
And they would human sacrifice Aztec dish. And when the Spaniards took over the area, they're like, okay, check this out. You can have your soup, but you should try not to eat people that's wrong. And so they went and tasted different meats.
It's kind of
wrong. Not too much.
And then they discovered that pork actually tastes the closest to what they knew. So they pozole is made with pork now.
Damn,
that's crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that
I'm
is
like,
crazy.
I know a lot of stuff. I didn't know that.
And one other thing, this buddy of mine told me is those pink pigs are not natural. They're like, according to this homie of mine,
really,
those pink pigs are not. There's no such thing as pink pigs.
Yeah, they're domesticated.
They're domesticated,
and they've been
they're like
bred,
and like kind of like cloned, or not cloned, but like,
bred.
Yeah,
bred.
That's why they're pink because they're domesticated and they're not natural.
White and black cows, milk cows are also not
natural.
They're also bred, and I mean when you say not natural, we're not talking about petri dishes here. We're just talking about having certain animals mate with certain animals.
They don't exist in the wild.
Certain traits, but yeah, they don't exist in the wild.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
the pigs. If you look at all,
the pink pigs have been bred specifically for farm consumption.
Oh,
like
there's no pink pigs in the wild. All the wild pigs are hairy with spots.
So if you've ever had boar,
brown, black, white,
like
huge difference.
Like you go to a restaurant and they have pork and they have boar on the menu. The boar, which is like a wild pig, tastes different. Actually, better than the farm pig. Well, you think about it. The pigs are like kept in like these pens and they're crammed together. The boars are out there in the wilds doing their thing, getting all the exercise and stuff. So the meat's, it's like deer meat just has a different sort of texture to it because it's had exercise all its life.
I met a guy who had a stroke, right? An older guy, and he really wanted to eat meat, but but the doctor advised him against it. So he started hunting and getting his own meat. He got wild boar and elk and a bunch of other, venison, deer, and his blood pressure and his cholesterol dropped, and he got a little bit healthier because he was eating healthy meat instead of store-bought shit. And he like the difference in like the color and the flavor, and that's what it saved his life, and now he's like deep into hunting, but like it's a game changer.
It's especially better if you're hunting it, because not only is your source healthy, but you're exuding calories to go get it.
Exactly.
So you're exercising to kill your meat, which people forget. Like, the meat is a great source of calorie when you're roaming around with a spear and a rock all day. Right. It's not meant to be consumed by people who are just sitting in front of a desk typing.
But with this type of world we live in, we can be vegans. Like that's where I'm starting to see that.
It's better to be.
You can totally be vegan and get it.
Unless you're like a pro wrestler or something.
I'm not. But even there's power lifters that are vegans. Like I've seen it, man. Like it's totally possible. My brother told me that his he did his max, like he bench presses. He when he went vegan, he was able to hit like more than he's ever benched.
That's what I heard from hella other people too. I was like, damn. So it's something
crazy
to that.
Yeah, I have a couple friends that are vegan.
So that
are bodybuilders.
Yeah, exactly. So
what the ladies think about that.
Well, one of my friends is she's a vegan, but she goes ham. Damn. Like the only time, and it's funny, she'll like treat herself with vegan donuts after a while, and it's like, but like
they got vegan donuts.
They got vegan everything.
Oakland. There's a spot, vegan donuts.
Really? Yeah, it's actually vegan. Vegan donuts.
Vegan donuts. I'll send you the info.
Yep. Okay. No milk, no eggs, no fun whatsoever. No,
no, they're actually pretty good, man.
I'm joking.
You tasted?
I've tasted them. Yeah, I used to kind of. I mean, I'm not a full vegan. I one of the, like you mentioned, those animals in cages. That would be a good reason for me to it's not gonna change the world overnight, but that is sad to see animals in cages and shit, and the way they keep them. That would be a reason for me not to eat meat.
Definitely.
The only problem I would be scared about
delicious.
It's going to be $17 for a salad.
Well, the way you fix that is you get yourself some chickens and you raise some chickens, and then you kill one every now and then.
And that's how I grew up. I grew up in a chicken coop. I thought everyone had a chicken coop when I was growing up.
Yeah.
The only thing is I would get attached to the chicken, and then
So you know, like you killed my
pet.
That's to me, that's like one of the best ways of living, when you grow your own stuff or raise your own stuff versus they'll pump some shit in there. You have a third eye, 4 or 5.
They add water. they
the fish from The Simpsons.
Bro, I saw where they fill up fish with water to make them heavier for when you buy them, because they weigh them first and then they clean them.
That's so disrespectful.
And it's like
that's why they charge you more.
So they charge you more. And big difference. I remember. You remember Archimedes, the martial art guy, a friend of mine.
How could I not? He's been on the show.
Oh yeah, he's been. Yeah. Well, I had him over for steaks. We were watching boxing. This is my boxing homie. Every time there's a boxing match, I invite him over. And I got a big hunk of meat from my uncle. He's passed now, but he had a connection in Sacramento for a farm. And whenever they would sell what was it called? Steer? Not steer. It's a calf. Calf. And if the person didn't pick it up, they would just sell it to us for cheap. So they sold us like the whole leg of the calf for like $100-something bucks.
Nice.
And we picked it up.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It was we divided it between a couple of people, and I cut one of the pieces into little steaks, and we grilled it on charcoal. And
that was good.
It was good, man. And we ate a lot, but we didn't have that. What's it called? The itis afterwards, like that tired feeling or hella over stuff. It was grass fed. Grass fed, pasture raised, and
no mad cow for you, sir.
No, dude, it was like they roam around in the mountain all day walking, and healthy like red meat with almost no fat, and we didn't get that tired feeling after you eat a steak, you're tired. We didn't feel that at all, man. We were up, we were And I
the food did what it was supposed to do, and it gave you energy.
That's what we don't have with food, energy, nowadays.
Yeah, even when I eat, like, my metabolism hella fast. Like, I eat something like right now, and it'll start burning while we talking. I'll be like 10 minutes to feel like it's gone. That's just me. That's just how my body works.
Yeah.
That's why I be eating.
And you don't look how old you said how old you
39.
are? You don't look 39, man.
Because I don't drink or smoke.
Oh, yeah. You work. I see how you're working out, man. Like you're like a movie star, man.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to show a few people, you know, they was like, he ain't got it no more. Like, man, are you sure about that, man? So I just, But after I was doing them squats, I know you seen that.
I saw that, yeah.
And all that weight, I haven't did that since 2013. So the next day, when y'all didn't see it, so I had a 45 on each side, so I'm doing the squat, and then I did like 4 of them, and then it just pow my back, and I was like, and it was like 3 people behind me. It was 2 fine girls and stuff, 2 fine women, so I had to play it off. And it was the mirror, so I could see when they go away. Man, when they got away, man, I pulled up on that bar. I'm like, oh, that hurt it. But I'm cool because I heal hella fast. So it's been like 7-8 days. I'm damn near back. Supposed to be playing hoop, because before I came here for the interview, I just seen my partner Marlon that sing and stuff, and my partner Corey, they pulled up. And they was looking, I was like, man, they're like, what happened to y'all? They like, man, we was calling you, but my phone had died and stuff. So they went up to Vacaville. Yeah. So they up there at the Duke Center. So if it's still left, time, I might go
swing
up
by. They play, I know they play like multiple games and stuff.
Yeah. They gonna be asking for me, because I went up there and they was like, man, you know what I mean? We like this guy, like, as you should.
Yeah, exactly.
As you should.
I want to ask you about your chains, man. Is that that's Egyptian?
Yeah, ancient Kemet. You got the scarab beetle, then you got the falcon and stuff on there. It's just
is that Horus?
Nah.
I'm tripping. Oh, it's not.
I can't even think of the name. I'm wearing the stuff, and people gonna be looking like.
I just noticed it right now, and
you know what I'm saying? But but one thing I will say on a mental level, spiritual level, kind of interesting how it captures attention. And me personally, this is just, I could be wrong, could be right. We are an extension of our ancestors or whatnot, literally physically formed in the flesh through the semen, the nut, whatever we want to call it. And then we are, a long line of people. So for people who see this and it resonates, because I get more when I'm wearing this, a lot of people turn, they be like, man, I like that and stuff. So what it seems to me, just seems, but it could be fact too, where we may have been in these areas, because, a lot of us travel, so if it resonates, then it throughout the line, they go all the way down, they see this, it's like, why is this symbols or this one, and like you say earlier, within ancient cultures, it's like a theme, if you will, not just a THING thing, but
like many different cultures, not just one. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with this, it's like, why is these ones resonate? Like when people look at it, like just the colors that it has, faded gold on this one, silver, whatever the case is. But when it was in this true, colors or whatever, it was just like, well, wow, it resonates. So I kind of look at stuff that we like. If it was something your father or somebody didn't like, maybe it was your grandfather, great grandfather, and because you took after that specific gene, even though it's multiple genes, you might be like, well, dang, I like how that woman look over there. I don't like that, but your great-great-great-grandfather may have liked the petite ones where, somebody like, I'm just using that as an example of certain likenesses.
Or like, how do you just, like something in your culture you just like or you're drawn to. Yeah. Which you have, you're like, I never thought I liked this, but it's, I see what you're saying.
And so the indigenous and original cultures, there's similarities. It's just like when you see this, you could look in what the now terms, like the Latino or the Chicano, and they may have something very similar, but because we traveled everywhere around, whether it be Moors or whatever name, Israelites, Northern Kingdom, whatever the case is, it still resonates and stuff. It's like, dang, I've seen this before. Like deja vu. When you lived the day before, even though you didn't live it, or did you? Yeah. Then it goes into the Matrix, Neo and stuff, and that sort of thing. And it just ties in. It's kind of like like Anita Baker, it's a mystery, if you will, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I think it could be figured out.
I wanted to ask you something that you mentioned, the Israelites. That like I noticed, you're probably the first person that, you know, is connected to the Israelites, right? That I've ever met. I don't want to, you know.
No, I'm gonna answer. So
Okay.
I'm waiting. I'm humble. I'm just waiting till you finish.
Okay. But I see, it seems like everywhere I hear the Israelites mentioned in the media, they
negative.
Like they hate everyone except for Israelites. I would say that's how it feels.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to take a breather real quick.
Yeah.
For this one, because I'm gonna have to explain it right without all the jokes and stuff, because I know this is a serious matter when it comes to them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start off with saying I'm not a representative of them because of that, the negativity. Now, you can't change who you are in your bloodline, your DNA. People can label you as being black or African American, Negro, Mexican, you know, just different than the Latino and stuff, but even that comes from Latin. So before the infiltrators, or as they would say off the Black Panther movie, when they said the oppressor or whatever, when before he or she
colonizer.
or them, colonizer, right,
Yeah,
excuse me.
I remember that, yeah.
And before they came, then what were you known as? And then whatever you were known as we're speaking bastardized English or American English as opposed to England English, what were we known as before that tongue and that culture? Because languages are a culture. Like English, you know, is what the Englishmen speak and stuff, or Spain-ish,
right.
Spanish, which is kind of different when you say Spanish, a man from Spain, as opposed to Castellano, you know, which is very similar, but. So saying all that to say, with the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, since we in the Bay Area, you know, the Hebrew Israelites, if you will, you smell me. Mm-hmm. So some of the negativity that's brought, and this be the realest stuff I ever said against all odds, is brought upon by the Israelites themselves, because when you have a foundation like this table, and it takes whatever it is to make this table, but if it's founded on something that's fake, these mics wouldn't be able to stand on this because it'll fall apart. So with the Israelite situation, it's not like everything that they're saying is not true, but there are certain truths that are not truths. It's just based on, because the environment in which a lot of Israelites live in is the hood, the ghetto, if you will. So when you're surrounded by, when you're with your own people and you don't have a foundation, you turn on each other, and then anyone who looks like you want them to be a part of what you feeling, but everybody not feeling that. And just because somebody has dark skin or darker hue with woolly hair does not make that person a Hebrew Israelite, an Israelite, Yisraelite, or whatever, an Ever, or you know, that thing. So with the Israelites, I would say, if you've ever interacted with Israelites, and even with me when I used to deal with that part of the truth, because there's many layers to the onion, like as many with the big old sun, you know what I mean? Yeah. So when you peel the layers, as I stated a little bit earlier, with things that resonate, it's like this, you know, just like looking at this, Israelites will look at that, oh, that's Kemet, oh, that's, you know what I'm saying? But if you look at a swastika, people will be like, oh, that's them white Aryan nations. But if you know where the roots of these symbols come from, when Hitler he tilted it.
Got it.
But when it was
completely right, yeah.
Because it was a peace sign at first, right?
Right. It was something Indian.
So with that, it's like when you peel the layers to all this Israelite stuff, then you find out, like, okay, wait a minute, it's not what I thought it was, or it's not like the black American Negroes was teaching on the street corners. Now, not everything that they say is wrong, because there's a lot of facts in it, but when challenged correctly by somebody who still lives in Africa, who knows about it, but they don't call them Israelites in Africa, because that's in English, Hebrew, Israelite, and all that. So and this is for any Israelite. I don't know where the camera is. Where the camera's at? Because
they're all over.
Okay. Well, I want to sew in the camera. So as I'm looking, being serious, this isn't a disrespect to my people or to the Israelite people, but this is just to bring the facts, though. You know, and a lot of things that the Israelites speak on them corners is not true. And I can assure you this with Leviticus chapter 26 and Deuteronomy chapter 28, people are using that as that's how you identify an Israelite, and no, it is not. It's just like any other culture in the face, you know, in America, right, or any around the world. You have to go through your family line. And for the Israelites, and I'm pointing at you specifically, because hear this well, I'm very serious right now, very firm. When you go out there preaching that hate, white people, this and stuff, yeah, we cannot erase what has happened. And by the way, white is a legal status. Black is a legal status. It's way different. I'm peeling layers right now. So if you're feeling it, you're feeling it. And if you're not, you're not. But to go out there and disbehave the way you're doing it and stuff. And yes, it is an uproar when we see these Caucasian cops murdering people like that. So I get the anger, and I go into words. So if you look up the etymology of anger, it comes from it's a Norse term, and it's unger, and it means grieved or vexed. So you become grieved when you see what you see, then you become vexed, and then therefore thus produces anger. So with the anger that you're producing, I get it, but you have to base it on facts. So Leviticus 26 and Deuteronomy 28, in order to find out that you are Israelite, you have to fall back on when you hating on the African people and saying that all of them is Hamites and stuff, but then in the next stroke you say that some of them are. Well, make sure you make it clear to differentiate who is who, because to go out there and do that, for those people believe, but if people don't believe, that's why I'm using the term if you don't believe that the Bible is the truth, and for those who do and they can have all the facts and stuff, you're stopping people from waking up because you're coming out here preaching that hate on these people and this people, and specifically in this particular thing is the Africans. So the way that you tell that you are an Israelite is to fall back on your, if we want to use the term, I don't care if it's Leo, Scipius, Africanus, or whatever, but African or the people, whatever the term is for over there, you have to fall back on that history, because that history or the truth, if you want to say, oh, well, history is his story, I know all the little, you know, it's that. So I just want to get that out the way, and to close that particular part off is you find out through your family lineage. Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26 can only point to the curses to identify who they are in so much of a way. But in order to find out if you are of the bloodline, you're going to have to trace your lineage. And that's very key. I just want to get that out there.
You said, what was the term you said? You said a word right now that I wanted to ask you what it was about when you were talking to the camera. It's a term they use for other Africans.
Hamites.
Hamites.
What is that?
It's a biblical reference.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not privy to the Bible, so that's much.
There's a list of non-Israelites in the Bible. Hamites are one of them.
Okay.
They're the children of Ham. Ham is one of Noah's sons, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't Ham the one that looked in on Noah when he was naked and laughed at him?
You have Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Then Canaan was the sons of Ham and stuff like that. That was the one who went in and did that.
Right. And then after he saw his father naked, he laughed at him, and God was like, I'm cursing you, and you're going into the land in the south. Or it didn't say Africa, but a lot of people think that Africans are the children or descendant from Ham.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
so it's like a term to kind of like degrading term.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily.
No.
Ham.
Well, based on the story, that's what I don't mean any disrespect. Just based on the story he said, that's right.
Oh, well, right. In that context,
yeah.
Based on someone who was shunned down for
disrespecting their father. Yeah.
It's almost like Richmond Street term, like funking with somebody, beefing. Some people in the East Coast and stuff, they say beefing. Out here, the Bay, funking. So you jumping in some funk.
Okay.
And you don't even know what the story is. It's just like gang members in Los Angeles that's part of whatever the Bloods, the Crips, the Jungles, P-Stones, and all them people's down there, PJ Watts, Front Street and all that, Grape Street. It's people who came up in it.
Again, we mean no disrespect to all these guys.
Yeah, right. If you ever see this, this is, we from the Bay, man.
Yeah.
We don't, but we just.
I just want to clarify that.
Right.
It's all love.
But it's just I use these. I'm illustrating something to paint a point, like a picture. Or I'm using this illustration to
Uptown,
make a point.
The day I'm wearing a red hoodie.
Oh,
let's make sure. Let's be clear.
Right. And I got on blue. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
But the Hamite situation, Israelites use that as a derogatory term because this is one of the brothers of it's a long line of people who birthed people and all of that, but they use it in context and content of like, okay, well, y'all was the people who enslaved us in Kemet or Egypt for X amount of years. But what people have to, I would suggest that they do is to look at the pharaohs, because they have to go in more than just the Bible. You have to go in other things to validate if the Bible is true or not. I'm saying that for those who look at it from science or scholarly realm and stuff like that, not to be offensive.
Archaeologists and that kind of thing.
Right. So when you look at things around it, that points the arrows, okay, these stories are true. Some people debate, there's no history of King David, or you can't find that nowhere, but it's not that it isn't there, but you're looking in the wrong place.
Or you're keeping shit from us.
That as well, as most of the time it is.
Or they haven't found it yet.
Or that's even a better one. So,
because like in Iraq, there's a lot of stuff that every time they go into Iraq, they recover and then they keep away from.
And guess who, when they find the stuff, who the people end up looking like?
It's usually in England.
Yeah.
Have you seen Rush Hour, the first one?
Yeah.
Remember what they were doing in Rush Hour? The English dude was trying to steal all those ancient artifacts from China.
Oh yeah.
And like if you look at
the British Museum.
Yeah, and in a lot of the stuff that was like stolen or missing in Iraq one of the places where according to what I've read, that's where one of the first civilizations,
Mesopotamia,
Sumer,
Sumerians or Sumer, so
where Abraham, or Abram before he became Abraham, that's where he's from.
Yep, and that's one of the cradles. I mean, it's like they say, it's not a coincidence that all this stuff always happening in Iraq, and that there's a lot of ancient texts there that would completely reshape how we think about history, and a lot of shit's missing. That's
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
And what the view. My cousin, I just seen Patrick Polk. I just seen him in Hercules, downtown Hercules, at the new Safeway Express gas station. Now I remember when I was deep into this, Israelite stuff, if you will, at the time. When he first started, when the war and all that, over the oil and the weapons of mass bull.
Yeah. Which ended up being supposedly poppy seeds afterwards.
Yeah, some weak shit. But anyway, I just seen him. But I remember when he had came back from one of the times in war, like 2011, 2012, I had seen him at Jack in the Box in Hercules, which is just across the street. So we get to talk. I ain't seen him in a long time. I was happy to see him, hugged him. We got to talking. I was talking about the Israelite stuff and some Kemet stuff. So he was on a convoy. I think that's the correct term. Please, for viewers, correct it if it's wrong in the comment box. But he was driving, and this is not to be disrespectful or anything, but this is just what it was, what he told me. So this is to make a point about the Mesopotamia.
For sure.
So he's driving. It's him and a bunch of brothers, a.k.a. black people, a.k.a., brothers, all that type of stuff. So they riding in one of them places. I don't know if it was Basra or
this is during the war.
Right. He was giving me a story because we got real deep in that stuff. So he was telling me that they had the guns and all that stuff, and there was some Arabs there, and they was telling them like, hey, this is your land. But when they got there, they was seeing people who look like people from North Richmond walking around and stuff in the area and stuff, and East Oakland, West Oakland, Hunters Point. I'm just using where a lot of people that they call black here in the States. Right. And they seeing them around, and it's like, well, hey, you know what I mean? They wanted
in Iraq.
Yeah, in Basra, them different cities and all through Baghdad and stuff. So what was deep about it, when he said that the people told them that this is your land, we don't have a problem with you, because some of them can speak English pretty good.
Yeah.
But they and again, now I'm gonna look in the camera. Now I'm gonna do that look.
Don't shoot me, please.
You know, because
don't shoot any of us, please.
But what they said is, and this is no disrespect to Phil or anything, but it's just he said we don't have no problem with y'all, but he said we want the white people. That's what they was saying. He was making it clear that because he said this y'all land, and they was already noticing like, well, damn, that looked like cousin so and so from over there on the block, and you know what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that with those artifacts and stuff, as you touched, and when you said something about the shaping. What it will do, and it's just a joke Richard Pryor had when he was still here, when he was still in his young prime. It was an episode off of one of them things where they went to the pyramids, and he was with these white dudes or whatever, or excuse me, that's a legal term, the Caucasian guys or whatnot. And they started looking at the text, and you know Richard Pryor was loud. He's like, oh shit, you know, it's like this is our stuff, man. I'm about to go. You know what I'm saying? He was saying that, and I was like, dang. And because it resonates with people who study. It's like when you read, them different wires in the brain start connecting. I forgot the actual term at the moment, but the neurons and they start connecting and forming new thoughts and stuff. And I think that because what I mentioned earlier about what resonates when you get a certain amount of truth in you, you know, you just can't help it. It's like with the Matrix, when you plugged in and you start to unplug and you start to know that you can do all this and dodge bullets and stuff, but you do it with your mind, and you be like, you can, instead of dodging bullets, you start dodging and knowing how to untangle narratives, false narratives,
false information, and
you be like, wait a minute. If I was Peter Parker, my spider sense is telling me that this is some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a minute, that don't make no sense.
Dick Gregory said once you put on the goggles, you can't take them off.
Right.
And you can't force anyone else to wear them.
And he got them from They Live, that movie They Live. Yeah. When Roddy Piper and that one brother. Yeah. So when they put on them glasses, like I'm at the voice party right now. If I put on them glasses, now I think this is a real form. So I think when I put on the glasses, it's going to still say the voice party. Yeah. But if it was some smirkish shit up in there, and I'm just using Richmond, California term. You smell me. But so if this was a fake place and I put that on, it'd say something else, mind control. It'd be like, wait a minute,
obey.
Oh, right, obey or something like that.
Have you seen that movie? No, you gotta watch.
Weird meat creatures.
Weird creatures.
So when you put those glasses on with the Mesopotamia, you look at the text, and I would also advise that people start learning the Ivrit.
What's that?
That's what they say for Hebrew in the modern Hebrew with the modern Jews or the Jewry that live in the land now. Notice the terminology in which I use, and this ain't no shot. People who viewing that are Jewish don't view it as anti-Semitic or Shemitic or anything, because I'm not saying that, because you know how when you say something against them, as they might feel you can pull a Machiavelli and disappear. So I want to stay here. So you know what I'm saying? So I just want to make sure on the record, for the record.
Our show about to go off there.
We walk out of this building.
It's just for history purposes or the truth only.
Burn my house down.
But when you look at those lenses and stuff, and you look at the people who are there right now, they are not the people that were there thousands of years ago. And even some of those
Iraq.
There and Israel and all those different places where they funking, bombing, it's the propaganda. And I don't like Michael Jackson said, I don't I said enough.
That's a good,
So I'm like, man, let me just stay in my bowl and
so they're just acknowledging that black people are here in this part of town, and we're not beefing with you,
right. And they was and then
he said this is your home too. It sounded like
that's the first time I ever heard that. It's crazy,
right? And see, these are the stories that when people hear this stuff, you know what I mean, they like, well, wait a minute. What it is, it's a big ass lie. Yeah. A big ass lie we live in. It's like Jamiroquai. Remember Virtual Insanity? Yeah. It's a crazy world we're living in, and I just can't see that half of us is worth is all we have. You know, I was going with that big old cat in the hat. So when you look at it, that's exactly what it is, a virtual insanity we living in. So when you unplug, all this stuff interconnect. When you look at it with the real lenses, you be like, wait a minute, something ain't right. And that's what a lot of people of all ethnicities are starting to do. At the expense of the ones in who the media portrays as a lost people who had no culture. And if you see the culture that we've created as a people,
with a disconnect,
that you know, and a lot of other things. So it's like, man, we created, all of us, this big old thing and theme where it's like being in America. They'll say some certain stuff, but they'll look at these people in which they say these people is bad, these people is niggas, they niggas, whatever. But why is that energy that we possess, like Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4, Dragon Ball GT, we possess that Super Saiyan, but the energy is misplaced. We turn Super Saiyan against each other. Not to say we turn Super Saiyan against other people or anything, but it's just like, just be Super Saiyan.
Just to go forward.
Right. You did that energy for something constructive instead of destructive, like Transformers, like a Decepticon, or as I would call it, Destructicon, or a Desmirkacon. You know what I'm saying? But
that was a great explanation, and I like how you put that. I've never had a bad experience with any Israelites. Every time I hear about it on it's usually negative. And I like to ask people themselves,
I had hella bad experience or smirkish experience because, and the reason why I changed up the words, people, because etymology, I know a lot of them. So the word bad, if you look up etymology of the word bad, it means womanish like man or hermaphrodite.
Oh, wow.
So when Michael Jackson said, I'm bad, and then vitiligo, and he looked kind of like feminine. Not to be disrespectful or anything, because I love Michael Jackson. I still think he's alive, by the way. That's just me.
Really?
You know what I mean? We could, if you want to do a whole nother episode on that, I got a lot to say on that.
That'd be an interesting one, because I see
we'll get into that.
I throw some. What was I throw something in there with that. The Michael Jackson thing. It's
Tupac.
Oh yeah,
you mentioned that.
And Bob Marley.
Bob actually.
I've heard theories. I
don't know.
Bob Marley thing. Yeah.
I've heard about the Tupac one. I used to think that for years when I was younger, but I don't know.
How old would he be now?
He'd 50.
He'd be 50.
Yeah,
Tupac's
June 16th this year made 50. I know it quickly.
He was younger than Tupac too. I mean, he was younger than Snoop, so he'd been. Yeah.
No. Actually, no. He's older than Snoop, because Snoop just turned 50 the other week.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he just turned. He was on the Breakfast Club just talking about that.
He a Libra, if you get a zodiac sign. Tupac was the two-faced, the Gemini and stuff.
And that's what we were gonna start to talk about last time you were here, about the Israelite stuff, but we didn't really get into it.
Let's go fine.
No, I don't know.
The belief system.
Because when a lot of people talk about the Israelites, and it's usually
it's perceived negative. Here's another aspect of it too. People also want to look into the camera too. This is in defense, in a sense. When you look at the energy of the Israelites and how they deal with things, if it just like put that person in the hot seat. How would an individual feel if their culture was removed from them? What do you have to work with? So whatever you have to work with, you know what I mean? That's what they're vibrating on. So if it's what we have now, the King James 1611 and all of that, or the Torah, the Tawara, whatever, if you're using Lashawan, Kodash, or Lashon Kadosh, either one, what do you have? This is basically all you have, so it's been taught. But when you've been taught with a true foundation, then you start to learn, like, hey, look, it's way deeper than that. Like Mac Dre say, the game is thick. You know what I mean? So this is a game. And in the game, there's winners and losers, and nobody really likes to lose like that. So people are playing for keeps. They playing to win. And so with the Israelite, the energy, they turn Super Saiyan, which is cool. But some of the actions in which they exude is not Torah-like. I must even say for myself, because I know there's a lot of viewers, they and I'm just going to keep it one meal with. They're going to be like, this nigga, because that's how they going to speak. This, you know what I mean? So we all fall short of the glory of God and whatever, according to the narrative. And I want to put that in emphasis, all capital letters. Now, here's my theory on it. But I think this is actually true. like when Kanye West, he was talking. Now I'm gonna get on him real quick. So let me take some of that energy he got, because that's some cool energy to me. But when they was interviewing him, he was like, people ask me, who do I think I am? I just told you who I think I am, a God.
God, yeah.
And stuff. And I was feeling that because that's written in Psalms 82:6. For I have said, ye are gods. You know what I mean? And the rest says, you all shall die like men. But that gist of it, or the key focal point, is gods and stuff. So why would it say that? And this is challenging in thinking. If it says that you are God, and I think it's reiterated in the Christian's New Testament, I think it's either Matthew or John, or one of 10 or something like that. Yeshua, Yahawashah, Yahusha, Yehoshua, Yahushua, whatever name, Yeshaya, whatever name people use this year, it reiterates about being a God. So what about this being a God thing? And then if you are a God, capital G, if we're used in English, lowercase ODS or OD, which if you trace the word God deeply, it comes from Germany. So go figure, if you will. And even if you won't, still go figure. So within that, you look at it, because you know how people speak. You know, they be like, if you will. I always got to.
The English language itself is a mutt. It's like German plus Latin plus Greek. You know, it's a blend.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
So looking at that, what was I at? I'm sorry, I didn't want to forget the point.
Talking about Kanye.
Okay, so Kanye West, when he was talking about the God, thank you. So he was talking about the God, right? Where does that concept come from? Let's just keep it funky. Let's keep it simple. I ain't got to get all deep. But we know what we're saying. People, they really want to do the research. They can look into the etymology of these words and do a word study. But let's just keep it funky. Let's just keep it 1,000. So, a God. And then in the 10 Commandments, thou shalt have no other gods before me. And if you put those two together, it's like, okay, well, one is saying you a God, but then you had no God before me. And then it's like, well, people will be like, well, they're talking about the all capitals, Lord or God or whatever. But then what is it? If you a lowercase God, it's telling you that you can do extraordinary things. And what was recorded on the record, for the record, so to speak, in the narrative of the Jesus or Yeshua or Yahawashah, Yahusha, Yehoshua individual. He did a lot of great things, whether it was metaphorically speaking, whether it was symbolic for something. Or
can I cut in real quick?
Please.
I just read something that the real Jesus was born in Ethiopia. I don't want to.
I mean, there was an entire Ethiopian church that had, I
don't mean to like.
When the disciples went their way,
that's good. That's good.
When the disciples,
I don't know.
When the 12 disciples went their way, when Jesus was like, go off and spread the word, they went everywhere. So
I'm sorry, I didn't want to. I know you were on a.
They're telling everyone that they can come across about, hey, there's the Savior. He was born, and he's the truth, et cetera, et cetera. So they spread the message everywhere they could. Okay. But yeah, so
sorry, you were.
That was perfect.
There was a thing that there was a legend.
Heru is another thing too, right?
There was a legend that there was an immortal king in Ethiopia that the Europeans thought existed, and the Ethiopians perpetuated this lie. Oh yeah, the king, he's around. You want to talk to him, so they could gain some influence and connection with like the Vatican and all this stuff once they became aware of each other. But that was also what the Haile Selassie thing was, right? They thought he was Jesus. I'm sorry. I'm
glad that's how it, because it's going to be people of all faiths and beliefs and programs and all that, and that's good. I'm actually cool. So if you need to stop,
no. I just want to
keep going. I'll be like, and they'll
that's the extent of what I know. So that's why I asked to see if you knew about that.
But the scriptures do say where he was born. He was born in Bethlehem. Bethlehem is not located in Ethiopia.
No,
but it's definitely not. Okay. But I mean, it's in the eastern direction, sure, but it's
what was I?
You were talking about the different.
The names for Jesus, and you were making a bigger point. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
We're talking about Kanye and the gods. And
okay. Thank you.
So we were getting all 5% Nation in there for a minute. It was like, oh wow, this sounds like.
So it's like with just the God thing. Here's something to think about too. I'm gonna tie this in like a shoelace or whatnot. So this is like in the form of a question, but explanation at the same time. It's like, okay, in the scriptures they talk about a God of war. If y'all gentlemen heard that before, if y'all into he's a God of war, right? But if you are the supreme Elohim or the God of the omniverse, multiverse, universe, or whatever, right? There's nobody to be able to be at the top of the food chain to compete with you. So who are you funking with? Who are you warring with? Y'all see where I'm going? This isn't no disrespect. You know, I deal with this.
No, I hear you. I was gonna say, it seemed like when I remember that scripture, when I read it, I just figured, okay, that's the war that we do. You know, like he's overseeing that, like World War II, World War I, the ancient wars. Like God is watching over all of this. Technically, he's the God over everything, literally, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's so the way I was looking at, I mean, and I looked at it from that way too. This is just to get people to think outside the box, the circle, the square, the rectangle, the triangle. The all that stuff. So you got us being gods. For those who reach that, what they call Christ consciousness or God level or whatever name it was before the Germans and the Latin, and they call it God now, whatever the native term, Elohim or whatever. So you got a God of war. So in order for a war, you got to have two competitors or more. You know what I'm saying? So if you the supreme God and you shall have no other gods before him, what is this other God stuff? Now people say it's the idols, the people that worship the idols and stuff like that. And I get it from that level, but just really thinking. If you a God of war, there should and nobody can't beat you.
Why does there need to be a war?
Right. Why does it need to be a war? And then
what are you fighting from?
If you the creator of everything, you created heaven and earth in 6 days and rested on the seventh, the Shabbat, Shabbos or whatever, and you created everything. But then because you created everything, you a God of war. And it's like, who are you funking against if nobody can't see you? Like Tupac, niggas can't see me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if can't nobody see you, who you funking with? And then with the God thing, it's still gonna sound stupid when people replaying this and stuff. They're gonna be like V for Vendetta, is he a crazy person? Like I said in the last episode, but I just really be thinking. It's just like chess to me, like art and chess, like Bobby Fischer. He studied all them Russians and stuff and how they played chess, and he felt like they had his title, which they did. They was playing with him psychologically, but Bobby Fischer, when he beat Boris Spassky in game 3, he was playing psychological warfare. And I think that's what they're doing with us, because why is it that these people who get to the level like Kanye West, like what was written before us, they get to this God level, and then all these all-seeing eyes and stuff, whether it be these cameras or whatever, they look and they be like, they always constantly watching you. And a lot of times when they watch you out of fear. So if fear, the acronym is false evidence appearing real, then it's like, well, what are you scared for unless you had a smirkish agenda in the first place? You see what I'm saying? So it's like
walking around in a environment where there's peace, but you got weapons.
Right. Like there's something wrong with that. And then even within the Torah, and again, this isn't to disrespect the Torah, because I know this is people's culture, part of my own, and in a way, but I really think about it. And then at this, whether we believe in Jesus or we don't, or Yeshua, Yahushua, and you Tanakh only, like I am, when it comes to, if I were to be asked where do I stand, I'm Tanakh only. That's basically what they call Christians call the Old Testament. But I know the Jesus or Yeshua individual very well because of not just what I studied and how I studied. And that's untangling the narratives. And once you start to untangle the narratives, then you start to question things. Then when you start to question things, then that does things to your mental psyche and subconscious brain to stop for a second and be like, wait a minute. And then you produce people like the Kanye Wests, the Tupacs and stuff that seem to be what they use the term ahead of their time. But here's how I look at it. I'm gonna use some E40 type talk. So you know how you 40, how you talk about tardy and stuff, you know, oh, you tardy and stuff. So I look at it like when people reach that God status, it's not the individual who we look to like the Machiavelli, Tupacs and stuff and Kanye West is that's ahead of their time. They own time and hella other people are just slow because of how they studied, how they've been programming, like Kanye West and his recent stuff, how he been talking about being programmed and stuff. And I'm really feeling that because I feel like it's about time. Whether he's a puppet to people or not, he's being used by the, you know what I'm saying, and all that. I'm gonna do that so people, when they do the little screenshot, they could be, oh, he a part of that. You know what I mean? When people take them pictures covering one eye, covering another eye. The 666 and all that. So they look.
Jim Jones does
and then they can write something and be like, you know, these puppets, they send agents and to do stuff right in front of your face, and that's how they, you know, they. Some of that stuff is true, but some of it just ain't. You know.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, to me, Kanye, bless his heart, he doesn't. I think he's come out and said that he's suffering from bipolar disorder, right? And like a lot of the things that he said over time, where he says things like, you know what, slavery was a choice. I'm like, this is a man that's grappling with mental illness. He should not be given a mic.
Can I please say something? I know it's an hour and all that. I'm gonna just do hands too.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Go ahead.
So with that, if I may, right? This is what I think he was saying, right? With all those people at that time, because I looked at the interview. I didn't watch it for hella long, but I was like, okay, let me check this out. Because when it was big, I didn't watch it. I wait till it. Because
a lot of stuff gets mixed up and stuff. Once you hear about it, it's not what you thought it was once you listen to it.
Right. Yeah. Like with Wallow and Whack 100 when they was. I seen the clips on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, they was about to chunk them. Yeah. And then when I said, man, let me stop being programmed. Let me watch the whole interview. Yeah. And I seen it in its proper content and context. So I think that what Kanye West was basically saying, or for others that might use the words trying to say or relate to or trying to get us to think about, if it's hella slaves, allegedly, then why are we letting, and I'm just going to say it as is, as the context and what he was speaking at the time, why are we letting these white folks run over us like this, and it's hell of us, and it's only a little bit of them? Yeah, some people going to die, but we can overthrow. And because Nat Turner and them dudes and all them other slave or I want to correct that, people on the camera. I know it's over now, but I just want to say this. These kings, queens, lawyers, priests rebellion, because that's what we are. It's only because we use this term slave from the Slavic term Slav, but that's not who we really are. We are those gods and kings and stuff, because if it wasn't so, almost everybody on the face of the planet wouldn't emulate and imitate the negative stereotypical view of how the media portrays us as a lost people, as if we had no culture, as it only started with slavery. But going back to the Kanye West thing, because you know I got a lot to say, I think what he was basically saying is that you got all these people, you got a little bit of these white folks, why don't we just get on some shit?
Like, why didn't they just do the Nat Turner thing?
Right, because he was saying, and it was like the mind thing. He was trying to say, you a slave, it's a choice because you wanted to be a slave, basically. And I know the brutality in which they did, but if we just really dig into what makes a Slav or a slave, it's really dealing with what they now would call, with how the Germans, the MK Ultra, the mind control, like Immortal Technique was saying. Immortal Technique, how he was saying and stuff off of Revolutionary Volume 2. But I think that what makes the slave, that one, the vapest album, I use the term vape, like they say hella dope, I say hella vape. So that was a hella vape-ass album that he made. That was raw vape.
One of the best albums ever.
So I look at that like, what makes a slave? You know, like Willie Lynch and the making of a slave. So how they did, I'm sure you probably checked out the Willie Lynch, and if y'all brothers haven't checked out the Willie Lynch thing, it's very deep, very deep.
I'll check it out.
So it's called the Willie Lynch letter. So that when you look at the rudiments of how they made a slave, it basically, you look at it, it's mind control. They use brutality to get to your mind. Yeah. So Kanye West, with all the mind stuff that he's talking about now, about the program, Kanye West and all these billionaires and stuff, they watch the same YouTube that we watch. And if there's a different YouTube, I like to watch the one that they watching. But apparently, you know, when it made the comments about the Israelites just recently, when he said the 12 tribes of Judah, now Israelite listeners are going to be like, come on, man, it's the 12 tribes of Israel, or Yisrael, Yasher Allah, Yasher all them, all them different other names and stuff like that. And I'm looking at the camera purposely because when the viewers look at this, you know, they'll see where I'm coming from. They may not agree with it, that's fine, but the Kanye West thing, I believe what he was, the message he was relaying, it's like, it's like hell of us.
They should have revolted, is what you're saying.
It was a frustration thing. He wasn't accusing.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Ancestors.
I just heard that.
Watch it and definitely take a perspective of what he was trying to say, because because
we're the ones in the media, aka black people. I don't like that term, but you know, as what they call us, but any nationality. And I'm looking at the camera once again, not again, but once again, because it's a gain out of this, once again. So, you know, when you're oppressed, this is what happens. And the people that are sitting at the top or wherever they sit, it ain't even got to be at the top, it'll be at the bottom, wherever they at. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you got to be fair and stuff, you know. Now, Torah is the measuring stick for the Israelites. That's what keeps the balance, like Ma'at and Kemet. It relates. Even though people that's going to view it, they're going to be like, this dude crazy. He don't know what the heaven and hell he talking about. But every culture in the face of the planet, they might have all the same things, but there are certain points, just like there's certain lines in the earth that connects, whether we debate it's a flat earth or circle earth or whatever. But just to throw a little bit of comedy in there, well, actually I can't, but just put it this way, you know what I mean? It just, you know, if you... Yeah, I ain't gonna ask anything. I'll just wait. I'll wait. I used to be a comedian too. I got a lot of stuff with me too. It ain't just the deep stuff. I used to do a lot.
Nah, I think we touched on a lot of good stuff today, man, and we got a lot out of this.
I got a school lesson.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's over.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
man.
That was a quick hour. That was a quick hour.
Let's keep going.
We wish we could, but we all gotta.
We all got work tomorrow. We gotta get out of this
long
place.
Day. I want to open this moment up to have you, later on in 2022, we'll bring you back.
Yes.
Follow up. Give some time.
I think we need a full episode of that Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Oh man, for that, you know, Most High willing, everything. Creator willing.
Yeah.
It's some
theory,
things. It might not be agreed upon and everything, but people,
it's interesting.
But it's an interesting topic.
Oh yeah.
Bottom line.
Just to throw one out there, if you look at the courtroom, I gotta do this before we end it.
Okay.
Look at that courtroom. Why was it a damn stuffed animal bunny sitting in the courtroom?
I don't even know about that. I have no idea.
We got to dig into that. 2022, I'll hit you up and we'll plan it out. It'll probably be like around April, May, or before, maybe a little before that, just to give it time.
Cool.
Sorry, I just did this because I had what I wanted is just where people can, if people want to follow you or hit you up or any of that, contact you. Just
I'm gonna have to open it back up. I had to deactivate my Instagram or Instagram account because these people trying to, you know what I'm saying. But it's Afa is King, or AFAISKING. You can find me there. Now, if you decide to. You feeling where I'm coming from in any form, shape, or fashion, then let me know, because I have my account private. I don't just let everybody in. Yeah. So just let me know within the inbox. I'll respond to you because you've seen The Voice Party.
Either episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, either one.
Yeah. All right. And you got anything coming up? Any the documentaries, anytime we can expect it, or still working on it?
Still working on it.
We'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone for now. We'll follow up on that.
I'll just say this. There's some surprises coming. Just know that, people.
All right. We look forward to it, man. Hey, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for
It's been amazing. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad we did this again and we were able to devote more time to you.
You're the second person to speak directly into the camera.
Oh, that's cool.
No, wait, third. But
who the other two?
The first one was a comedian. He's a friend. Actually, it's been all comedians, but they did it like jokingly. Yeah. So hey, it's
both of them, but it was comedian.
Yeah, both of them were comedians.
Who was it? The gentleman.
First one was Arturo. He was a comedian friend of ours who did it like because he was
on the show, right?
He was on the show. He was a comedian
like
guy.
Earlier, huh?
Like a few months ago. And then the most recent one, his episode I think comes out tomorrow, is Brian Hicks.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did look at the camera.
He's a comedian from Oakland. He's a funny guy. He's
Hicks.
Brian Hicks.
No relation.
No relation.
You think about Andre? No relation.
No. I have some Hicks that I know.
We touched on that too.
You may know him. You may know
from
him.
a certain area in Richmond. I know some Hicks.
Oh yeah,
family.
no, he's Oakland.
Oh, okay.
Oakland,
probably same plantation. You know what I mean? Somehow, you know.
Yeah. But other than that, sorry, you started it off good.
No, I was just saying, man, it's good to like bring you back out, and we were able to delve a little deeper, and it still feels like we're still just on the surface.
I know, man.
This is crazy, but 2022, sir, we got to get you back on.
Yeah, man. Yes. We'll hit you up around what time, and we'll follow up with you again. But other than that, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe.
The cornerstone that they rejected. Remember that.
Exactly.
Like, share, and subscribe. That's been The Voice Party, and we are out.
That's a wrap on today's.